Alright, hey, what's up everybody? That was really loud. Should I try that again?
Yeah, let's do that again.
Alright. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Tide Pool. I'm Roman, that's David.
Hey!
Alright, and today we're going to be discussing Star Wars. Most specifically...
I love Star Wars.
Do you?
I do.
But do you love The Last Jedi?
Yes, I do.
Ah, okay.
Well,
I
think I will.
Yeah.
I love that trailer, man.
You probably will.
Yeah.
You're probably going to love it. We're all going to probably love it. Okay, but so...
But there's questions about it.
Questions.
Big questions.
In our reaction video, probably like one of the most common comments was, Rey's going to be a Grey Jedi. Luke's training Rey to be a Grey Jedi.
I saw that.
So what do you think? Do you think Luke is training Rey to be a Grey Jedi?
First of all, that's a great question. I was blown away because the Grey Jedi is like not really part of the movies, the established canon and lore. Right.
Yeah, so it's not canon at all.
I was so surprised to see so many people like knew all about it and were posting about it.
Of course, so many sweaties out there.
Well, but here's the thing. Well, actually, first let's break down what is a Grey Jedi for you. If you don't maybe know what that is, because it isn't in any of the movies.
Right. Okay.
And you check my knowledge on this, Roman, because I think you know more than me. But Grey Jedi is somebody who isn't an all dark side, isn't all light side. They were walking that line.
Yep.
And so you're like not part of the Jedi Council maybe, but you're not really, you haven't fallen to the dark side. You're like an independent in the political system, right? You're not Democratic or Republican. So your question was, do I think that Luke is training Rey to be a Grey Jedi?
Is that what's going on?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think that's going to happen at all. It doesn't make sense to me. I think Luke was trained by Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Right. He's
totally a light side guy, and he does not have that. Like, how could he even start to train somebody into the dark side? It's just not in his character. I don't see that in his character. I don't see it in his training. And he got burned so bad by Kylo Ren, right? Yeah. And all that stuff, and just even like dabbling and thinking about the dark side. I think he's going to go the opposite, and he's going to be like, Rey, only light side. Don't even think about the dark side.
Huh. Okay, well, here's what I think. I do think that that's what's happening. I think it's all the pieces to me seem to fit. Here, piece number one. Okay. He says that it's time for the Jedi to end, right?
He does.
Why would you ever say that? He's obviously not going... Exactly. He's not obviously just saying, I'm done with the Jedi. I don't think he went to that island and secluded himself just to come up with the conclusion, I'm kind of done with this whole thing. Why is he standing there on the rock and watching her with the... Like, you know he's training her.
Okay, he's definitely training her.
He's definitely training her, so there's no reason for him to say, it's time for the Jedi to end. I think what he's saying is just, it's time for the Jedi as we know it. Maybe if you could insert that there to end.
So you think it's like it's kind of a fake-out phrase, where he's like, it's time for the Jedi to end.
For the teaser. I mean, you have no idea what he says before that or after. Maybe he walks out of that cave and like yells something back. And he's like, as we know it!
Yeah.
And she's
Yes. Okay. No,
okay, well, so that's one point.
And that makes sense to me.
Okay. Second point is, he's on this island, right? You said he's trained by Yoda, he's trained by Obi-Wan, but he went to this island to learn something. You see the books. You see the old kind of, I don't know if it's a scroll or whatever, she's kind of rubbing her hand across it, and she says, balance. Before, bringing balance to the Force didn't have quite a clear meaning, right? It was like, Anakin's supposed to bring balance to the Force. Well, what does that exactly mean?
Well, especially because at that time, there were no Sith, really, and the Jedi Council was super powerful. So
it's like, so you want more dark side in the world?
Because it seems like Jedis are doing pretty well.
Yeah, and then Yoda, you know, he even says that after they're talking about that prophecy in that ship, and he's like, I don't know exactly what he says, but he's like, prophecy misread, it could have been, or something.
We all remember that classic scene.
Yeah.
That was a good Yoda.
Oh, thanks. Oh. Okay, so that's my second point. My third point is, who's directing this film?
Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson. And what did Rian Johnson direct? Looper. And what is Looper about? It's about a man who is neither good nor bad and is literally fighting to be good. He's both of those things, right? The older version of himself ends up being the villain of the movie. Spoiler.
Yes.
So what better director to handle material and walking this line of somebody embracing both sides of something, you know what I mean?
I think the final point you raised for me is the strongest argument you have that she might be becoming a Grey Jedi, because yeah, Rian Johnson, for sure, all of his movies are very much about morally ambiguous characters. Even his first movie, Brick, right? Like the character is a very like film noir style guy who's like, is he good or is he bad? He's outside of the whole system. I think he's got that. He's got a very strong viewpoint on that. So I agree. That does seem
well. And then here's another
possible.
point, and I'm just thinking about this now. Is recently Mark Hamill was being interviewed on ABC.
I saw that
and said, I fundamentally disagree with everything you've decided about my character.
Oh, Mark Hamill.
And so...
But maybe Mark Hamill's just... he's just a little out of touch with...
What could he be talking about, though? Obviously, Luke is different, or is going down a different path than he was for the previous movies, because he wouldn't have said that if Luke didn't do some sort of 180, right? And that 180 could be anything, but for me, all of these clues point to him dabbling in the dark side, rather than, you could also go take everything totally literal and go, Luke is abandoning the Force as we know it, and it's just something completely different. Not gray, not dark, not light. It's just something completely different, and it could be. Yeah. But I just don't think they're going to get away from those dichotomies.
You raise a really good point, because it is like, if he's not, so if I go, well, he's going to train her light side, and he's training her, but then why does he say he's abandoning, or he's done with the Jedi, and why did he abandon the galaxy and go off and live on this place by himself? It seems like he's totally given up on...
Yeah, what a dick.
He did. It is, well, maybe that's what Mark Hamill was talking about. He did kind of pull a real big dick move, or a jerk move, or whatever, right? He went ahead and, like, his friends need him, the galaxy needs him,
but maybe
and he abandoned everybody. He doesn't even tell his friends where he's gone. He just disappears.
Yeah, but he kind of maybe he's going a little like maybe a Yoda route. I need to like meditate on this. Bad stuff is happening now, but like it's going to be worse if I don't figure this out. Well, how about this question though?
Okay.
Do you think it's a good idea that if he is in fact training Rey to be a Grey Jedi, is that a good idea for the franchise? Introducing this concept of, and maybe they won't call it gray, but is this a good idea for him to dabble in that? Oh, you know what? A person can embody both light and dark, and that's a good thing.
That's a great question. I'd say no.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think I don't like the idea of Grey Jedi in general.
Okay.
I'm actually kind of glad that left when they reconfigured the canon and they split into legend and canon and stuff. Grey Jedis got left out. I think that's good, because I think that what Star Wars is about fundamentally is this white, black, light side, dark side split, right? Like from the very first scenes of the first movies, we have good, noble heroes who are doing what's right and they know it's good, and then there's evil, bad people who have fallen to the darkness, the hate, whatever.
Okay.
And I think inserting this concept of this moral ambiguity dilutes the kind of fundamental concepts that the movies are about. You know what I mean? That there's this strong split between what is right and what is wrong, and you know the difference between the two, and you should never give in to hate and rage or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. I totally feel that, and when you say like it dilutes it, I agree. It would kind of, right? There's something nice and pure about good versus evil, and these kind of epic stories are really...
It's what makes Star Wars work.
Off of those things.
At the heart of Star Wars, it's a very simple story, and I don't think it's a good idea to complicate the core.
Okay. Well, here I'll go the other route, and I actually do think it's a good idea for these few reasons. One is I think the idea is already implanted in the original Star Wars. It just hasn't been discussed overtly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that if you look at Luke's journey in the original trilogy, he starts out as this innocent person, and he gets darker and darker as the trilogy moves on. Literally, his clothes become darker as he's in all black by Return of the Jedi.
Right.
All right, and then he's just murking fools left and right at the end, by the end of the trilogy. And then by the very, very end, when he's, Darth Vader is confronting him and he reads his mind, basically, he's like, sisters. And he's like, and Luke is like, whoa, right? In that moment, I feel like Luke is accessing the dark side to defeat Darth Vader.
Definitely.
You know, and the music is going, and he's just so angry, and he's beating him down, and he's accessing that, but he doesn't give in fully, right? Yeah. He chops his arm off, and then he's like,
yeah,
you failed.
It's a good scene.
To me, in that moment, he was able to go, you know what, I'm using a little bit of this anger, a little bit of this rage to just get my, like, power level maximum, chop a dude's arm off, and I'm good. And then...
and then he very firmly steps back from that, though, right? And he goes, you know, you can kill me, I'm not going to fall into the Emperor's hands, I'm not going to give all the way over. And I think that the series needed that moment, right? Because that's the human moment of giving in to temptation.
Well, that's what I think is good about this idea, is that the characters are now going to be human, right? And it's this inside-out idea of you need these darker elements to have a holistic person.
You're talking about Inside Out, the Pixar movie, right?
Yeah, the Pixar
Okay,
movie.
I'm with you.
I mean, Pixar didn't come up with this idea, but you know what I mean? It's like the most like common analogy I can make right now. And so... for that reason, for the reason of, I feel like it's already been there, and for the reason that I feel like it gets to the root of what Star Wars came from. Star Wars, we all know, came from Akira Kurosawa films. They're basically samurai in space, you know what I mean? And the samurai, it's a dichotomy, right? A samurai is violent and yet kind of meditative, right? They're honorable, but they're willing to kill. And they have to embody these two sides as warriors.
Okay. There's the code of honor and the poetry, and then there's you go to war and you're killing people for someone else's behalf. So yes, you're like you're the artistic murderer.
Right, and so I feel like that's a good way to put it, artistic murder. And the Jedi are the same thing, and I feel like it really gets back down to the root of it, is this idea of light and dark. And who knows, you know what I mean, what Rian Johnson wrote, but I love Rian Johnson as a writer. I really love him as a director, and I have faith that he has come up with something satisfying to embody both, so that even if it's not immediately going to be as satisfying as dark versus light, just like when the Empire Strikes Back ends, it's not necessarily the most satisfying ending, right? You're kind of like left with a bunch of questions. And but I think that it might be more satisfying.
Well, I think
as a whole,
I think we'll see Rey succumb to the dark side in the same way Luke did. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure we'll see that. And then she'll come out of it. Now, I think you're probably right. I think you're probably right that we'll see something like a Grey Jedi show up. I for sure think, or I could easily imagine, we're going to see Rey fall to the dark side, drop. I can imagine Rey dropping Force lightning on somebody. But by the end of the series, the end of the arc,
that would be a crazy scene for Rey to have Force lightning.
Yeah, we'll get like a nice low angle shot, and she'll just be like with the crazy eyes all lit from below.
Wow, yeah.
Because she's a powerful entity. Here's so I could see that happening, but I'm hoping that they end up with Rey stepping very firmly back from that, like Luke did, and being very much a light side. Well, I don't know.
You think that Rey in this trilogy could end up a tragic character?
Let me pitch you how I would end the third movie.
Oh God! All right.
Okay. Yeah, I think Rey succumbs to the dark side, goes full dark side. She's got so much power, and it gets totally abused. And Kylo Ren resolves his conflict in himself.
There's no way.
Because he's still so conflicted. Hear me out. And then resolves that conflict. Big showdown between the two of them. And then Kylo Ren ends up sacrificing himself in order to save whatever and stop Rey's. No, they're never going to do that, are they?
Okay, wait. You kind of touched on something I kind of liked. Kylo sacrifices himself so that Rey can flip back to the light.
Maybe.
Rey has to end up in the light. There's a million girls running around in Rey costumes, and you're gonna, like, for the next few years be like, she's your hero. Nah, just kidding, she's super tragic. And they're not gonna do that. Disney and Lucasfilm are not gonna do that to all those little girls.
You don't know what they're gonna do.
They're like, this is the first female Jedi, and we're just gonna make her
sold a bunch of Jyn Erso action figures out there too to girls, and
she's not a tragic character.
She gets blown up on a planet's surface.
She does, but she's not evil by the end. And by first female Jedi, I mean the first female Jedi in the movies. Don't and there's female Jedi in prequels. True, that's true. But they're not focused on.
Right, our first like main character,
right? Yes.
Our real main character.
Yep.
But, okay, you're right. She's probably not going to end up evil. I hope she doesn't. But what I'm saying is, I think there's room either with her or with Kylo Ren to maybe Kylo could hit this kind of gray Jedi thing. Nope, he's too evil. No, there's no way. I don't think it's going to happen, man. I don't think we're going to see that. Kylo Ren from the get-go is already this flawed, conflicted guy who wants to be good, but there's something in him and he can't be.
I mean, once you kill your dad, you can't. It's hard for you to get an audience back on board, especially if your dad's Han Solo.
Yeah,
I don't know. Unless Han somehow comes back as a Force ghost and is like, "It's cool, everybody. Give him another shot.
Give him another shot, Chewie."
That's not how he talks, but okay.
As a ghost, it is. At the end of the day, though, I really think it's best for a movie like this that creates these massive, iconic characters. You want somebody who, at the end of the day, is just absolutely not morally compromised. Who's like, you know what? I was tempted. I went through these trials, and at the end, I came out firm in my devotion to the light side.
Yeah.
So that's what I hope to see. I hope she doesn't end up as a Grey Jedi.
All right. Well, I'm kind of on the other side. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think she's trained to be a Grey Jedi, and is that a good idea? Where did we mess up? What did we say that was just completely ridiculous? Sure, you'll let us know. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back more with some more Star Wars discussion.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
See you later. Bye.